On the news tonight, Dangote submits petition to Icpc against Nmdpra MD Ahmed over alleged corruption. Former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, dies in Saudi Arabia. The Senate passes 2026 to 2028 MTF framework, says 2026 budget to be presented this week. And on the foreign scene, Rwanda-backed M23 says it will withdraw from seized Congolese town after U.S. request. Good evening. This is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. I am Femi Ojo. The chairman of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has submitted a petition against the managing director of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Nmdpra, Ahmed Farouk, to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Icpc, accusing him of corruption and financial impropriety. In the petition submitted today, Dangote demanded the arrest, investigation, and prosecution of Ahmed for allegedly living above his means as a public servant. In the petition received by the office of the chairman of the Icpc, Musa Adamu USAN, the billionaire specifically accused the Nmdpra boss of spending without evidence of lawful means of income amounting to over $7 million for the education of his 4 children in different schools in Switzerland for a period of 6 years upfront. He further alleged that Farouk Ahmed was using the instrumentality of the Nmdpra to embezzle and divert public funds for self-gains and pursuit of private interests to the detriment of the Nigerian people, which orchestrated uproar and protest by different groups recently. Dangote vowed to be on ground to provide evidence in proof of his allegations of corrupt enrichment, abuse of office against engineer Farouk Ahmed. And moving on, former Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Tanko Muhammad, is dead. Muhammad, who hailed from the Dogwa in Giade local government area of Bauchi, reportedly died at a hospital in Saudi Arabia about 2 weeks before his 72nd birthday on December 31 rather. Reacting, the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed commiserated with the jurist family over the passing of the retired judge. In a statement by spokesman Mukhtar Gidado, the governor described Mohammed as a vulnerable jurist whose life and career exemplified dedication to duty, integrity in service, and steadfast commitment to the rule of law. Justice Mohammed assumed office following the controversial suspension of his predecessor, Walter Onohe, in January 2019. He went on to stay in office for 3 years and 5 months. And in the National Assembly, the Senate has confirmed the nomination of 3 non-career ambassadors. The first set of nominees submitted by President Tinubu 2 weeks ago and screened by the upper chamber last week. Those confirmed are Lateef Kayode Kolawole Are from Ogun State, Aminu Muhammad Dalhatu from Jigawa State, and Emmanuel Ayodele Oke, CFR, from Oyo State. The confirmations follow the consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, which conducted a screening exercise. 64 other ambassadorial nominees forwarded to the Senate and screened are yet to be confirmed. President Tinubu forwarded the names of the 3 non-career ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation on November 26. It was the first list of ambassadorial nominees sent to the Senate by President Tinubu since he became the president on May 29, 2023.
Representing Oyo State for appointment as a non-career ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Emmanuel Ayodele Oke, representing representing Oyo State, is hereby confirmed as a non-career ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me thank the chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, distinguished Senator Bello, handled. And I also congratulate the ambassadors designates and wish them very successful tenures. At the same time, I congratulate the President of Nigeria for being able to fish out square pegs and putting them in square holes. And I do know that the appointments will bring better relations between Nigeria and any foreign country that they are sent to. Congratulations to the Senate for all your contributions.
In the meantime, the Senate has called for urgent government intervention to cushion Nigerian farmers from the sharp drop in prices of agricultural produce, warning that the situation, if left unchecked, will threaten millions of livelihoods and worsen the country's fragile food security. The call followed the adoption of the motion sponsored by Senator Ahmed Dangote from the Central, which highlighted the growing imbalance between falling farm gate prices and the persistently high cost of agricultural inputs. In his resolutions, the Senate commended the federal government for bringing down the cost of foodstuff across the country by granting waivers and special permissions for importation of food products, noting that the policy had brought relief to many Nigerians amid the cost of living crisis. However, lawmakers observed that the same policy has created unintended consequences for local farmers.
Note that the lowering of the cost of food products has brought succor to Nigerians, but at the same time created special problem for the Nigerian farmers. Note that while the prices of farm produce have been going down, that of the farm inputs, especially fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, etc., have remained extremely high. Further concern that the ongoing market distortion has resulted in massive post-harvest losses, as farmers are unable to sell their produce at fair or profitable rates, leading to wastage, spoilage, income erosions, the livelihood of many almost entirely on farming. In farm gate prices may discourage farmers from investing in the next planting season, posing a clear and present danger of reduced domestic food production, widespread rural economic stagnation, and worsening of the already fragile national food security situation. Observes that the enormous labor, time, and resources invested by farmers will be wasted without urgent and deliberate government intervention to stabilize agricultural markets, protect local producers, and sustain economic activities in the rural areas of the country. Also observes that Nigeria's growing dependence on food aid distort local markets, as well as discourage the development of agro-processing industries, thereby exposing the national economy to global price volatility and foreign exchange pressures.
The Senate has passed the 2026-2028 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework (MTEF) and Fiscal Strategy paper, indicating President Bola Tinubu is expected to present the 2026 appropriation bill of 54.4 trillion naira this week. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the passage today following the consideration and debate on the report presented by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Sani Musa. Akpabio described the MTEF as a prerequisite for the presentation of the national budget, underpinning that the document does not represent a final position of the legislature. Senator Akpabio explained that the passage of the framework will enable the National Assembly to receive the 2026 budget proposal between now and Thursday. He expressed hope that the projections contained in the framework would be realistic enough to support the effective implementation of the renewed Hope agenda. And here in Osun State, Ahead of the 2026 fiscal year, the State House of Assembly today received 15 local government areas for budget defense exercise. The 15 local government areas appeared before the Finance and Appropriation Committee of the State Assembly to present their 2026 budget proposal.
After scrutinizing the ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, in the past weeks, the Finance and Appropriation Committee of the Osun State House of Assembly kicked off the 2026 budget defense exercise for local government councils. Opening the floor was Ifelodun local government, presenting the budget size of 6.5 billion naira as the Finance Committee asked the head of local government administration, HLA, if the 2025 budget was factored into the 2026 proposal following the stalemate in the local government administration. The local government's budget defense exercise is happening against the backdrop of the lingering crisis and controversies that have trailed local government administration since February 2025, a development that has spiraled into the withholding of local government allocations. Meanwhile, the HLA of Ifelodun local government confirmed that the council's 2025 budget provisions were fully integrated into the proposed 2026 budget.
That it has been properly captured appropriately, despite the shortcomings within the withholding of the allocation, but we have considered it appropriately and imputed it inside.
Other local government areas that presented their budgets include Ife North with 5.6 billion naira, Atakumosa East and Atakumosa West tabled 5.8 billion naira and 5.1 billion naira. Ila with 4.3 billion naira, Irewole with 6.2 billion naira, while Irepodun presented a total of 5.4 billion naira. Similarly, Eden North presented 4.9 billion naira. Ishokan came right after to defend a 4.5 billion naira proposal, while Ife South, Orolu, and Ilesha East presented 5.5 billion naira, 7.7 billion naira, and 5.8 billion naira each, while the state capital, Osogbo, tabled 8.3 billion naira budget size. While speaking in an interview after the budget defense, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) chairman of Ifelodun local government, Sarafadeen Awotunde, maintained that the withheld allocations will soon be released by the federal government following the Supreme Court verdict.
How do we now going to implement it? Very soon, I'm quite sure things will take its normal shape. But we are peace-loving. We are not going to fight anybody. We don't want to be distracted. We don't want anybody to distract us because of the monumental project our dear governor is doing in Osun State. I think the seized allocation will be released soon as well, in accordance to the verdict of Supreme Court last week. No agency, being federal government, Ministry of Finance, CBN, they don't have any right, singular right, to hold the money meant for grassroots. It's unconstitutional anyway.
It would be recalled that the Supreme Court, in a 6-1 split decision, held that the federal government was wrong in withholding the local government fund, an action that was a breach of the Nigerian constitution, while also ruling that the Osun State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice lacked the legal right to institute the suit on behalf of the 30 local government. Delivering the lead majority judgment, Mohammed Baba Idris held that only duly elected and inaugurated local government officials held the authority to initiate or defend legal action directly. Meanwhile, Mr. Awotunde refused to comment on whether a legal action has been instituted in this regard.
That one is not for broadcast. That one is our remit. You will hear about it very soon. Don't worry.
Both the officials elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress (APC) and those elected under the PDP have been laying claim to the control of the council, leading to the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees (NOGE) to abandon work while council's allocations are withheld. The local government's budget defense exercise continues tomorrow at the State Assembly, with more local government councils set to appear before the Finance and Appropriation Committee. Toby Sanusi, Western Spring Television News.
Moving on, Governor Nasir Idris assigned 2026 appropriation bill of 642.9 billion naira into law following its passage by the Kebbi State House of Assembly. The governor assented to the budget at the government office bringing Kebbi this afternoon after receiving a document from the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Usman Muhammad Zulu. Governor Idris expressed appreciation to the Speaker, principal officers, and members of the Assembly for the speedy passage of the 2026 budget. He commended the legislators for their commitment to the welfare of the people and their responsiveness to legislative responsibilities. The governor also described the Assembly as a true representative of the people, noting that he had diligently considered and ratified several bills forwarded by the executive arm. Earlier, the Speaker described the signing of the budget as a significant milestone in the democratic journey of the state, adding that the budget was the outcome of extensive consultations, deliberations, and rigorous scrutiny. And out of security matters, the Kogi State government has said it will make a revelation that will shake the country within the next 24 hours amid rising security concerns in the state. The Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, disclosed this in a news chart this morning. The Commissioner for Information and Communications said the state government will address the nation to highlight the effort of Governor Usman Ododo in tackling insecurity. Kogi State has recorded a series of security incidents in recent weeks. A Cherubim and Seraphim church in Ejigba, Yaba West local government area was attacked during a service during which the pastor and his wife were kidnapped. The commissioner said the state government was working round the clock to secure the release of those abducted. He noted that Kogi shares boundaries with 10 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, adding that intensified security operations in the neighboring Niger and Kwara states have pushed criminal elements towards Kogi. The Edo State Police Command has confirmed the abduction of passengers along the Benin-Akure Highway and the rescue of 11 out of the 18 victims taken by unknown gunmen. As reported on Tuesday, the incident occurred on Friday around Obarere village in Ovia Northeast local government area of the state, while the passengers were traveling in a vehicle belonging to a popular commercial transport operator. Confirming the incident in a telephone interview with the station, the police public relations officer, ESP Enoy, then revealed that efforts were ongoing to rescue the remaining victims. He disclosed that the vehicle was ambushed at gunpoint and all the occupants were forcefully taken away by the suspected kidnappers. He said a joint security team combed the surrounding bushes and forested areas in search of the abducted passengers, which led to the rescue of 11 out of the 18 abducted passengers on Sunday. According to him, the rescued passengers have since been reunited with their families, while security operatives continue efforts to secure the release of the remaining 7 victims. Now, still to come, Senate confirms to a NERC commissioner. We will bring you on these when we return. Over there.